Do you remember gaming before woke, when there were real men in the game? I said real men, where you'd run, gun, and spray blood all over your 24-inch in your bedroom. Couple of Monsters, Linkin Park CD, and the boys. Because that is exactly what Space Marine 2 is, without the energy drinks that make my wee-wee smell funny, but with beers. 1 million beers. I like beer. I know what everyone's thinking. Isn't Space Marine a Warhammer thing, and isn't Warhammer for... Okay, I might be the only one thinking that because... I'm assuming you all clicked on the Warhammer video because you're Warhammer fans. I don't want to break your hearts, but sadly, I do not spend my time painting figurines like a fucking 12-year-old.
What in the actual f*** are you guys doing?
Wait, no, hold on, wait. Nah, they're putting me on this. This is actually pretty sick. Now, I'm a generational hater when it comes to anything that me and my friends would have made fun of in high school. You play Nintendo? Yeah, good one. Warhammer? Yeah, 15-year-old me would have been seen dead glazing something Warhammer related. But you know what? They were onto something because Space Marine 2 is actually pretty awesome. So I've got some respect for those hustlers who had to deal with the stigma of being a Warhammer fan for the last years. I truly was not familiar with your game. So, like the claw from Toy Story, I'm yanking Warhammer out of the pile shared with World of Warcraft and League of Legends and giving it some flowers that it deserves. Because yeah, this new current thing was actually pretty good. And the campaign was a future school shooter's wet dream. Sword, chainsaw, Gears of War, chaotic co-op. Just put the meat in my mouth. So this is how this video is going to go, because before Mr. Beast touched a minor... Jimmy! I actually don't know what he did. He said on a podcast that I must make a question to make the viewer stick around to the end of the video for or something. We're going to be talking about the game, and then I'm going to be talking about Helldivers for some reason. Sound fair enough? This video is also not sponsored, by the way. Space Marine 2 takes place in Birmingham, where you and your friends must take on waves of homeless people asking for change. You play as Titus, a disgraced pedophile who was demoted for doing what those types of people do. And now you and a bunch of friends must bring back the Crystal Skull to save the day. Welcome to Space Marine 2. Okay, I will spare everyone the embarrassment of explaining the lore of a franchise I know nothing about, okay? And a game in which had a first game that I didn't play. And I'm not gonna play because this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. You know what? Get your mum on, steal a debit, just get the HelloFresh because they're giving all of you lovely people 10 free meals. And unlimited breakfast for life because as we all know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Jello beats. Holla at me.
They let you customize your order from week to week because sometimes you might have too much to drink on the weekend and you want to start the health kick. And then you realize I actually do deserve to eat something that a real alpha would eat. I know what he's saying. I'm a fussy eater. I only eat turkey dinosaurs. Wrong. 50 plus dinner options and breakfast for life. I said it right. Hey, I know you know they made me say all this, but I'm gonna keep it real. With this discount code, okay, it's actually cheaper than going to the shop and buying the ingredients. They gave you the recipe and the food is cheaper. So if you're like me and you're trying to save some money, it is cheaper and they are way better at cooking than me. Click the link in the description or use my code to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. And if you're outside the US, the local discount will apply. Thank you, HelloFresh. Thank you. Money, Mr. Krabs. Just put the HelloFresh in the bag, bro.
Thank you, HelloFresh, thank you.
Space Marine 2 has broken records for any Warhammer game. It has 57,000 people playing it right now on PC alone. And I'm sure for many people who bought this game, this is their first Warhammer experience. So I'm not going to LARP and pretend that I've played a bunch of Warhammer games when I haven't. The game story was again really good.
The Mechanicus are acting on orders approved by the Primarch.
And really brought back the energy that Gears of War had. I know there's a Helldivers talking point here, and there's gonna be, and maybe that's my title, but if anything, this gameplay reminded me a lot of Gears of War, because that is what it's going for. The CEO of the development company of this game came out and said that this was meant to be a throwback game. By its nature, old school, wanting to recapture the shooting game loops that made the original Halo so addictive. And yeah, this game isn't like Halo, but what it reminds me of is that crazy and hectic third-person, ruthless co-op shooters of the late 2000s and early 2010s. Gory, immersive, testosterone-filled, brutal gameplay, where its whole point is to be as bloody as possible. And that is what this game has nailed down. The gameplay loop in the campaign was refreshing because it had been so long since I'd experienced something even close to a game like this. Look, the fucking alien guys climb up the wall like the zombies in World War Z. Some joke about Israel and Palestine. And now I've got a massive fuck-off sword. Or what about a sword that's also a chainsaw? Look, I'm fending off sewer rats with a flamethrower. Look, it's all the people milking Space Marine 2. Unlike me. I love the Emperor. I love the Emperor.
I'm not racist. I have like 2 black friends.
And doing the same animation to get through things over and over again. You're starting to sound like a hater. No, it's just AAA gaming. And now we get a jetpack joyride? I said put that meat in my mouth right now. Look, my sword got the lightning bow on it. Arch Magos? Oh, hell yeah. Trips to Lagos connect like Magos. Okay, let's scale it down a little bit. Let's relax. Atmospherically, this game knows ball. There was this mission where we were like defending some console, and I think I left a brown stain on my chair. I was that shaken up, okay? Oh my god, really? Holocaust survivors have nothing on this. Fuck me. There was also another one where I was with my pal, and it was all dark.
What happened?
But then we had weapons with fire on it, and it lit up the area, and the fight was sick. Wow, fucking Shakespeare over here, Jesus. This was definitely something the developers absolutely nailed with this game, creating this immersive experience within the Warhammer world, which is my first introduction. No stupid obnoxious HUD, a health bar for every enemy shot at, random XP flying across the screen. It's clear that the game wanted us to feel like we were in this endless slog of a war, a place in which there was not a moment to blink, caught between Tyranids, heretics, and Necrons, who will probably be in the next season of the Battle Pass, Chapter 2. Every minute of fighting for something I will have to enter a games workshop to understand. Fighting alongside my brothers in arms, because only in death does duty end. In this game, you have 3 modes. The campaign, which is, oh, come here, kiss. The operations, and the multiplayer. Somehow still more game modes than The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And yeah, like I said, I enjoyed the story a lot, especially playing with friends, because who doesn't love shooting the shit with friends on a really enjoyable and ADHD brain-stimming video game? And also because playing with my friends didn't make me miss out on any of the lore, unless they were yippy-yappy during the cutscenes, because they take on roles of the characters already within the game with their own abilities. Much like Gears of War, you don't actually lose anything when playing with your friends because they've still got the same banter, the same voice line. And in some cases, you get the opportunity to do individual things in the levels who is able to do. The characters have their own abilities, which I guess gives way to playing with friends, like the replayability, but those abilities are pretty much a nothing burger, to be honest. And this is the part where Grumpy Cat enters the 12-minute long Space Marine video.
Why are you so negative all the time?
Hear me out, okay? The dev says they want to make an older and a simpler game, okay? And I see that, I'm hearing them. This is a love letter to them old Xbox 360 shooter games, and even more so something for the Space Marine fans. I did say this game was sick because it is, but it also was a lot of money for little old me. The story lasted for about 7 hours, which is as you come to expect with a game that has other modes to play in it, so I'm not complaining about that. But what I will say, apart from some of the wonder weapons, special Halo power weapons scattered across the levels, the campaign didn't really offer much in customization. You could change weapons, but all the weapons were practically the same, or there wasn't enough variety for me to really care about. But again, I'm a preface this, that's fine if that's the narrative of the game. There could have been a skill tree, but again, if the devs want this to play a certain way, lore-wise, or make you feel like you are Titus and keep it authentic to his skill set, then that's that. And with the story only being 7 hours, that was okay, because if it was any longer, it would have dragged a bit for that gameplay loop. Because apart from customization, there was also not a huge array of different enemy types in the game. So if this was 15 hours long, I think I would have started to get bored. But luckily, there are 2 different game modes extra. Come on. Operations. I fucking love that in Battlefield 1. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Okay. They did the same thing. To start off, the operation time with the campaign is a good idea. I liked it a lot because it feels like an extension of the campaign. For example, the Inferno operation is tied into one of the early missions from the story where the main character Titus from the campaign requires a distraction team to help him block the Tyranids, and you play as that distraction team. The operation does offer more in terms of replayability with the upgrades and classes which apply to the characters, but even they seem pretty half-baked in my opinion. All the weapons are the same again, however you have the option to upgrade them and make them into better variants using currency earned in the game. But in terms of that upgrade, you don't get to choose like a drum mag on it or a laser sight, but more just buy this better version of the gun with upgraded stats. Not every class even gets a primary weapon as well, which really underpowers them in this mode. I played Bulwark, okay, who has a shield and a sword, and in the PvE, he was so fucking wank, because the parrying with the shield just didn't work at all. Like, it was honestly just worse than normally parrying and blocking like without the shield, and the damage he did was so minimal that I just felt useless. And I felt that a lot of the characters who didn't have primary weapons felt really underpowered in this PvE. The perks themselves also aren't the most exciting because they don't really give you any extra gameplay mechanics, more just reinforcing already existing ones and making them better so that you can go back to the same mission and do a better job of it. And multiplayer, it just takes all of this and throws it out the window, setting it on fire because there's no real progression in that mode. Just an amalgamation of janky gameplay and shit I imagine that has now been fixed, and certain classes that are way too overpowered. This Vanguard needs to be lynched. but the multiplayer feels like it isn't going to be the backbone of this game, so I won't get into it anymore. And I imagine they are going to fix some elements of this because I don't think the problems I have with some of the mechanics in this game are down to pure laziness or something. But I do think there's a lot of praise going around for this game because one, a lot of these YouTubers have no desire to actually play the game outside of the one video they've made on it. Hello. And also because there's a level of respect that you can give them for trying to reignite old memories of playing these shooters with your friends when you were a kid.
Flop. Everyone do the flop.
The game's good, okay? But it isn't perfect. And they also want longevity to this game, definitely. So that's why I'm quick to spot out the problems that could lead this game down a path like another live service game. When trailers were dropped and YouTubers and Twitter users and game journalists wanted their quick bag, you all heard Helldivers, Helldivers. This looks like Helldivers.
Funny thing is, you shut the...
Despite the fact that there was a game prior to this, and you could just watched it on YouTube and found out that it isn't like Helldivers. But what Helldivers could be is a keyword to use in my title, and I guess more importantly, a lesson to learn about PvE games going forward, because I think without the right care, Space Marine 2 may fall into that pit. Here's my hot take, okay? PvE games, they're pretty boring. And I'm saying this as someone who likes playing COD Zombies, okay? Doing that shit over and over again with seemingly no progression. But I think the reason I do like that is because it reminds me of being a kid and doing it.
What am I? Oh, you're the demo guy. You're the demo guy.
For example, Black Ops 1, there's no level system in Zombies. Sure, there's a leaderboard, but practically you do the same run every time, chewing the fat with friends, and we loved every minute of it. And I still like doing it from time to time, and it's something to turn my brain off because I think subconsciously it's bringing me some level of happiness, reminding me that this is what I did when I was a kid. But ultimately, there was nothing else to that. We live in an era now where you can't do anything without 1,000 pickle ricks on the screen, Duke Dennis Riz comps, and Puck Tuck. As much as Saber Interactive want to say they want to bring back that old school feel, at 55 quid, you are going to have to provide more than this now to keep people coming back. I'm sure there will be consistent players on this game regardless because it's a Warhammer game. But what about all those regular people who bought the game because it looked cool or to make a trendy video on it who probably won't go back to the game? So here comes Helldivers, the few months ago gimmick game that stood out amongst the rest of the 1 week wonders because it was really unique and hadn't been done before. Let me stop you there actually, before someone tells me that a game from 1977 was actually the original. For me, and many of you guys, I'd never really played anything like Helldivers before, whereas Space Marine does feel like a gameplay loop that I've played before, in which it was designed in that way. And yet in spite of this, Helldivers is a game which is finished, dying, on life support, even though a few months ago it was hailed as a live service savior. Yeah, this is gonna age great, isn't it? Helldivers highlights the major problems with PvE modes to provide an actual rewarding and continuous service to the customer to keep the game alive. 80% of its player base has fucked off. Certain weapons have gone through crazy nerfs despite a key tagline of the game being spread democracy with overpowered weapons. And obviously Helldivers' biggest problem is that there are just no rewards and meaningful progression. Once you get to like level 25, there's nothing left to upgrade. So you're just stuck with a bunch of stuff to play in the same gameplay loop that when it's updated, it's just a reskin of pre-existing content you've already played. And again, that is a problem that PvE games have because the gameplay loop in design is repetitive. You don't have the advantage of a multiplayer game where the opponents are dynamic and there's a competitiveness instilled into you. In these games, you will be doing the same thing consistently. Sure, Space Marine 2 has a multiplayer, but it doesn't seem to be the focal point of the game. More of a cute, here's this also, to tie people over until new operation content is released. Everything the devs said of this game is promising. It seems like they care about this product, which is nice. They're already fixing problems, but Helldivers' demise does bring around a huge question of how Space Marine 2 will be able to keep this game new and fresh, while still holding true to its old style of gameplay. Because whilst appreciating this game for what it is, and especially an introduction to the Warhammer franchise, many of the extra content felt short, and I did find myself fatigued with the gameplay loop fairly quickly. This could be down to how brain-rotted I am by the current video game slop cycle. Maybe life just moves too fast to appreciate things now. I don't know. Tony. But I would like to see some more innovation towards the game to warrant me going back and playing with friends, because even though I may have slated PvE games, they can be a lot of fun just with your friends at night with a beer and some food, pizza, whatever, okay? So, anyway, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching this. Hello neighbor, I got a Patreon membership, fucking WellReddit, Cash App, PayPal, my bank details. Just give me some fucking money, please.
You know